Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 40. Another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So let's crack on. First one is really interesting. So this is Netflix, who are being sued by SK Broadband. So this is basically South Korea's premier broadband provider, to give them some money because of the success of Squid Game specifically. So Squid Game is a show from Netflix. It is authored in South Korea, so it's hugely popular there, and it's also costing the broadband provider a lot of money to stream it out. So they want Netflix to actually pick up part of the bill for doing that. Now, of course, South Korea broadband are already charging their customers for this, so it's a bit strange. But I thought this is really interesting that based on the popularity of some shows, then broadband providers are being caught out by just how much data they now need to be serving and passing through. So I'm not quite sure where this is going, whether they've actually got that signed off or not, but that's quite an interesting development, really. Are you now responsible for how popular your show is, and how is this going to actually affect broadcasters and show creators, and who's on the hook for this? Maybe if you're a star and you star in something and you always bring in the box office and you cause more data to happen, is it your fault? So yeah, it's quite an interesting one. There you go. There was a huge Amazon launch event. Well, at launch events, it's an update basically. They do this every year. So lots and lots of things got announced, and you can see a few of them on the screen right now. I think the highlight was the Astro. That's top left of your screen. So the little home help robot. You can put stuff in the center of it and deliver snacks and whatever it is to you. It can also have a look around your house. It can check whether the dog's okay. It can avoid things on its own. So it's a pretty funky piece of kit. Clearly, it responds to voice as does Alexa, etc. There was also the new Echo Show, so that's a 15-inch screen, as you can see, sort of mid-top right-ish. So this is a smart device with a 15-inch screen. You can put it on the wall. You can do whatever you want with it. There's also the Halo. There's also Halo View. So there's Amazon Halo and View, which is the Halo is the device. So that's a new fitness device. So let's just say there's going to be products that come out and also fitness regimes and an app that goes with it as well. So obviously Amazon really getting into the home fitness and lifestyle area as well. There's the Echo Glow, which you can see bottom left, which is specifically aimed at children, and it's kind of a video conferencing type device, but it has this kind of projected keyboard or projected I guess display onto the table, so you can interact on the table itself, which is kind of neat. There's some updates to the Ring, for instance. There's a great update which allows you to know when the package has been delivered, for instance, which is super useful. But there's also custom events, so that you can now sort of say, well, look at that thing over there. Can you tell me when that thing changes? And when it changes like this, it's a thing. Could you tell me about the thing? So it could be the gate has been left open, or the car is now in the drive, or the garage door has been left open, whatever it is. So that's super neat. And also going into the, I guess, B2B space with the job site security version of their cameras as well, allowing access to job sites. So there's quite a lot going on. So have a look. There's a great article on The Verge which basically lists all those things. If you're interested in the Astro robot, by the way, it's about $1,000. So that's pretty spicy, but not bad for what it is. Docks itself, does all that good stuff, just like the Roomba. But yeah, I guess you just have to be careful where that periscope is is deploying itself, shall we say. Hopefully they've figured that one out. So yeah, Luminopia, which is really interesting also. So amblyopia, otherwise known as lazy eye. 1 in 30 children have this. So ways of tackling this is basically eye drops, or you wear an eye patch, and it's essentially one eye that doesn't quite follow the other one, and the brain takes over to say, look, I'll just concentrate on the other eye, and it gets worse for the quote-unquote lazy eye. So there's a really interesting use of VR headsets here. So this company, Luminopia, who are working with Sesame Workshop, DreamWorks, Nickelodeon, to name but a few. What they do is they real time, they move and they change the image in the show to basically exercise the eyes. So they'll real time change elements to be bigger, smaller, left, right, up, down, dimmer and brighter. just to give the eyes actually exercise. So I thought this was really, really neat because it's now using a TV pretty much as an exercise routine, just watching the TV. Although you do have to watch this thing through a VR headset. But when they did their studies, apparently, when you do those, eye tests and you can see the lines of, can you read these lines? On average, the people who went through the treatment can actually read 1.8 more lines than somebody who didn't go through the treatment. So, so it actually has some proof that it's working as well. So that's really good. I think they've had some great funding of this as well. But really love the idea that TV or watching content can actually, even though you're watching the same content, can actually have a secondary beneficial effect on health, potentially on physical health as well. So there you go, quite interesting. This is the Citroën Skate. Now we've heard quite a lot about manufacturers having unified platforms where they invent basically a battery with wheels at either side, and it's up to you to put a body on side of it. And if you are part of that kind of that industry conglomerate, then whether you be Citroën or Vauxhall or whatever, then you can do your own body styling. So this takes it one step further. So this is actually part of a thing called Urban Collectif. I guess I have to pronounce that French. So JC&Co are involved in this as well, as are Pullman, the hotel people, and Goodyear. So what you're seeing here is this kind of a new take on this unified platform with these really cool, the reason I saw this in the first place, by the way, is because of the cool wheels, these 360-degree Goodyear wheels. So that's kind of neat. So the idea of this is you create this urban mobility platform, you stick a pod on top of it, and whatever pod you want is what turns up. So you call it, for instance, there's somewhere just around the corner that's got 10,000 of these little base plates on it. You say, I would like the fitness one to turn up because I've got 15 minutes to get to work and I'd like to do a rowing session, and that's what would turn up. So there you go. Obviously in this demonstration of the future, they have their own dedicated lane to go in, so you can whiz past all the traffic whilst in your family pod, etc, etc. So yeah, really love the wheels. Those are really cool. It's not just a render, actually. There is actually a platform that moves around in 3 dimensions in reality. So will these be the future of urban mobility? Who knows? There you go. The EU are planning to mandate USB-C, so that's the one in the middle. So the one on the left is obviously Lightning, as found in iPhones. The one on the right is basically USB micro, I think that is. However, you've probably got a bunch of these in your house. You've got different adapters for each one of them, and the EU wants to stop this e-waste nonsense. So they are announcing they are going to plan, or they are planning to mandate USB-C. That means that anything that is a smartphone, portable game console, portable speakers, camera, or some types of headphones have to have USB-C as an option if sold in Europe. If they do not have USB-C, they will not be allowed to be sold in Europe, is the gig. So that's kind of interesting. If they are wireless charging, that's absolutely fine, because the wireless pad itself doesn't have this mandate on it as well. So so that's okay. If you are a manufacturer of stuff, then this is interesting. Quite how that will affect things like iPhones. So this is now the battle of the EU versus pretty much iPhone. I.e., can the EU say, well, you can't sell your iPhone unless you update to USB-C? Now, as we've seen from a few hints and tips and leaks coming from the iPhone world, possibly the iPhone 14 due probably next year, probably November, October next year, is probably going to have a Lightning connector in it still. So that's interesting. It'll come into effect in 2 years. If it does, watch this space. That could be quite a good battle. And finally, we have ModelMe. So this is basically how do you generate diverse models. So as you can see from the top, I want a female model with brown hair, slightly wavy hair, or blue eyes, olive skin, natural expression, a 1-hoop earring, and a pearl earring, please. Great. Okay, so what you do is you upload a model, or at least somebody wearing your clothes, and what it'll do is it'll detect the bit that needs to change, i.e. the head and the feet and the arms, whatever's poking out, and then you can go into the background and you can then start to design your own models. If you really find that this is actually the model that we really want, you then save your model. You then upload any more clothes and it'll automatically apply that model to the photos that you upload. So you might in the future, if this is for you, you might for instance get a generic body model, or you might even get a mannequin that you then put all the clothes on, you upload it, and the model can then be applied to that and automatically uploaded to, say, Amazon or a choose your online shopping portal of choice. So that's kind of interesting. So you might also get themes, for instance. So you might want to make sure that of the 15 outfits you've just uploaded, it makes sure that they are all diverse, for instance. So you might want to click on that. Just making that up, by the way, but I thought that was quite an interesting thing to do. There you go. Hopefully that's also quite interesting. ModelMe, links at the bottom. So, and finally, sorry, there's actually one weird one left, which is Chile passing a neuro rights law. So this basically establishes the rights of the individual to their personal identity, their free will, and their mental privacy. So it basically says that if you're going to do anything technological, then you need to be doing this in the service of human beings and not technology. So it basically puts, as I've written here, basically puts limits on analysis and modification of your neuro data, your brain data. So that's everything from being scanned and being essentially manipulated by AI, or AI's learning to be better than humans. You have a right to your privacy, and you also have a right not to give that stuff away to computers. Now, obviously, this is Chile. You can say, well, that's going to have almost no effect because the big players are in China, and they're in Korea, and they're in America or Europe or wherever. However, this is maybe a sign of things to come, where humans are saying, actually, do you know what? You've got a right to be you, and science can't just kind of steal you and do something with it that you don't understand. So I think that's kind of interesting. Maybe something to come, something to watch. And there you go. That's this week's Dinosaw. Hopefully that was useful. Hopefully that was interesting. And I will see you again next week.